It was a humid evening in Lagos, the city alive with the sound of honking cars, bustling markets, and the aroma of suya wafting through the streets. Amara sat at her desk, scrolling through her phone, when she noticed a message pop up on her dating app. The sender was a man named Daniel, whose profile picture showcased a confident smile and an air of mystery. "Would you like to have dinner with me tomorrow?" the message read. Amara hesitated, but her curiosity got the better of her. After months of uneventful dates, she was ready to take another chance. She typed back, "Sure, what time?" The next evening, she found herself at an upscale restaurant in Victoria Island. Daniel was already waiting at a table, impeccably dressed and exuding charm. They exchanged pleasantries, and the evening began smoothly. Daniel's intelligence and humor had Amara laughing and leaning forward in her seat. But as the night progressed, his demeanor shifted. Halfway through their meal, Daniel leaned in closer, his eyes locked onto hers. His tone grew serious. "Amara, do you believe in destiny?" Caught off guard, she nodded cautiously. "I guess I do." "Why?" He paused dramatically, then said, "I'm about to tell you something that might sound strange, but you must promise to hear me out." Amara's heart began to race. She nodded, unsure of what to expect. "There's a ritual in my family," Daniel began. "A test, if you will. It's said that the person who passes this test is destined for great wealth, long life, and a marriage filled with blessings. The test involves humility and trust." Amara frowned. "What kind of test?" Daniel took a deep breath. "You must kiss my sore toes." Amara blinked, certain she had misheard. "Excuse me." "It's symbolic," Daniel explained, his voice steady. "It represents overcoming pride and embracing destiny. Every woman who has done this in my family has experienced unparalleled success." Amara stared at him, her appetite vanishing. "You can't be serious." But Daniel's expression told her he was. Amara spent the next day replaying the bizarre conversation in her mind. Her friends were divided in their opinions when she recounted the story. "That's a huge red flag," Tola said. "Run." "But what if he's telling the truth?" asked Nkechi, ever the optimist. "If it's just a kiss, what do you have to lose?" Amara wasn't sure what to believe. She did some research on traditional beliefs and rituals, but nothing she found validated Daniel's story. Still, something about his conviction made her pause. The next evening, Daniel called her. "Have you thought about what I said?" Amara's voice was steady. "I need to understand why this is so important to you." Daniel explained the history of his family's ritual, weaving tales of ancestors who had achieved greatness after passing the test. He spoke with such passion that Amara found herself torn between disbelief and curiosity. The day of their next meeting arrived. Daniel invited Amara to his home, a sprawling mansion in Ikoyi that seemed to lend credibility to his claims. Inside, he led her to a room adorned with ancestral portraits and artifacts. "This is where it happens," he said, gesturing to a low seat. Amara's heart pounded as she sat down. Daniel removed his shoes, revealing toes wrapped in bandages. He unwrapped them slowly, revealing sores that made her stomach churn. "You don't have to do this," Daniel said. "But if you do, your life will change forever." Amara closed her eyes, summoning every ounce of courage and faith. She leaned forward, her mind racing with doubt and hope. What happened next would shape Amara's life in ways she could never have imagined. The moment her lips touched his toes, a strange sensation coursed through her. Daniel's eyes widened, and a bright light seemed to fill the room. When it was over, Daniel smiled warmly. "You've passed the test." Amara's life indeed took a turn after that night. She received a job offer from an international firm, her struggling business started to thrive, and her relationship with Daniel deepened into something profound. Yet, she could never shake the memory of that night and the choice she made. Years later, as she looked out over the bustling city from her penthouse apartment, Amara often wondered if she had truly embraced destiny or been lured into a trap she couldn't escape. Her wealth and success had come at a cost she hadn't anticipated. Her relationship with Daniel had grown strained over the years. The charm and passion he once displayed had given way to control and manipulation. The man who had promised her blessings now seemed like a stranger, distant and cold. Amara's attempts to connect with him were met with silence or dismissive remarks. One night, she found herself alone in the same room where she had kissed his toes. The ancestral portraits seemed to watch her with judgment. Her once thriving business was now embroiled in a scandal, her reputation tarnished. The promises of a blessed life felt hollow. As she sat in the dimly lit room, the weight of her choices pressed heavily on her. Daniel entered, his face expressionless. "You wanted destiny," he said flatly. "This is it." Tears streamed down Amara's face. "At what cost?" she whispered. Daniel offered no answer. He simply walked away, leaving her with the haunting realization that not all destinies lead to happiness. Amara's life had indeed been transformed, but as she stared into the darkness, she wondered if she had traded her soul for a dream that had turned into a nightmare. Decisions made in blind trust can lead to unforeseen consequences, and it is crucial to seek wisdom and clarity before making life-altering choices. Finally, as the saying goes, not all that glitters is gold, and as such, wealth and success without peace and happiness can feel empty. The end.